Hey there guys, how's it going for today? In today's video, I'll be discussing why I don't like Voltron decks. Alright, so talking about why I don't really like Voltron decks. I know some people like Voltron, and I'm not trying to negate the strategy or anything like that. I don't like playing against it, and I don't like playing it personally. That's it, and the main reason for that is I don't like that your whole strategy essentially is based, on one thing essentially. Yes, that thing is your commander and whatnot, so you always quote unquote have access to it for the most part because you usually with a Voltron deck you're using your commander for that ability. That's the best way to go about Voltron decks is to get people with 21 commander damage because that takes a lot less time than having to, find a creature randomly in your deck, and then try to suit that up and then try to make that, lethal one way or another, whatnot, by buffing it up a lot. But then again, it's one of those things where sometimes you're like, well, my commander's already at 21 sometimes. So all these other equipment, auras, and whatnot that I have in my hand just really aren't doing me anything. So, unless I can find a way to actually punch two people at once, the rest of the stuff that's in my hand really doesn't do much at a certain point. But that's a separate complaint, I guess, or a separate little issue or whatever you want to say that might come up. It's not too likely to happen. But then again, a lot of Enchantress decks do tend to draw a lot of cards and whatnot, and some artifact decks and equipment decks do have some decent card advantage and whatnot. So there is a lot of advantages in some of those strategies with drawing cards. So it might happen, but not to say that it will always happen. But anyway, mainly, as I said, the main problem I have is your whole strategy for the most part is based on one thing, and once that thing is killed, dealt with, whatever, it's going to take you a heck of a long time, a lot of the time, to get that thing back onto the board, get it back out there and punching. So it's one of those things where it's either you basically set up your artifacts and enchantments or auras or whatever on your commander and then kill people, and it's no real fun for the other people because all they can do is deal with your one threat, which is the only thing that you've got, again, for the most part. Or you have your thing get dealt with, then you have to have the whole, well, now what am I going to do minutes of the game where you're trying to be well, am I going to be able to, get my commander back out there, or is somebody going to counterspell it, or as soon as I go to equip anything, is someone going to swords it, or, beast within it, or generous gifted, or whatever else. So there's all kinds of little problems that I find with it. Your strategy is solely based on one thing, as I say, and that's the problem. I don't really like that you've only got one option, and really, I hate that I've got to sit there and look at you and say, hey, do you want to play the game? No. If I let you play the game, you basically win. It's one of those deck building areas that I just don't like. It's just one of those problems about certain things. It's well, if I let this person do what they're going to do, they're just going to win the game. So it's a bit different to be well, I let people play the game. Yeah, sure, but how am I going to deal with what they've got if I let them kill the other two players? That doesn't actually really help me. It sounds like it helps me because there's two less players in the game and it's down to me versus this one person. But what's going to happen is I'm just going to die to this one person and their Voltron commander. So there's no point in me allowing this person just to take out the other two players. That means that obviously I was the weakest player or whatever in that game because obviously they thought, well, he doesn't have much removal, or I'm probably safest with you in the game or whatever. So I was the least threatening or whatever. Especially sometimes it's like that. But again, if I'm piloting that deck, I feel really bad too because I'm just like, what else am I meant to do? Like, I've got this thing that can kill people, and that's the only thing that I've got. Like, now what am I meant to do? Well, I want to win the game, so I've got to try to kill people. But then it's just like really boring because it's like, oh, right, that person's dead, next person's dead, okay, last person's dead, okay, cool, I won. Wow, like, to me, there's just no play to it. There's like, either you win really quickly and just take everyone out because no one really had anything or no one was really paying attention to you or whatever, and then you just kill everyone because your commander can't really be dealt with very easily once it's equipped, it has Shroud, all this other stuff, and then it has way too many artifacts or equipments or whatever on it to make it really worth killing just one or two of them for the most part. So it's just like, well, we need to basically kill them all, and then no one really has that much, huge amounts of like enchantment board wipes. There's some certainly more on the artifact side, I would say, but certainly again, there's not a whole lot of them. But anyway, again, like board wipes could do it, I guess. But again, then I'm like, well, now we just have to bully the person who was just about to win because that's all we can do again. And it's a sad situation. It's just like, well, what else can we do? We've got to get you out of this game, or we've got to shut you down every single time. Otherwise, you'll just take over the game and just like win. So, like, it's just one of those decks that I played it once or twice, and I just found it was very boring, very dull, very linear. Like, like if you're winning, you just win. Like, or pretty much like there's not much that stops you from just winning really easily, and it's just really boring in that way. And then once you like not able to just like equip your commander and do stuff, it's like, wow, this is boring because now I don't get to do anything because everyone just targets me because I've got a Voltron style deck, and they know what to do. They know, all right, kill your thing every time. Don't let you get it equipped. Don't let it get big. Don't let it get Shroud. Don't do this. Blah blah blah. And once again, you don't have any real defenses because again, you're a Voltron deck, so your idea is just to set up what your commander's doing or whatever, and get the equipments and then kill people. Like, there's no like, well, I'm running Ghostly Prison or whatever, all this other stuff, because you probably wouldn't run too much of that other stuff because, again, that gets in the way of your main game plan. But then again, you need sometimes other things because, again, it's like, well, what if my main game plan doesn't work? Then what do I do? So it's just one of those things. I just find that it's a very annoying set of circumstances. I want to talk about some other commander sort of that are out there that I just don't like. These are the sort of commanders that I don't like. Commanders that just make the game about either somebody cannot play the game or the other players have just basically lose the game. So it's one of those things. But anyway, guys, that is what I have to say about Voltron commanders. I know some people play them. I never get mad that people play them or whatnot and this sort of thing. So it's not like I won't play against them. It's just that I find them annoying to play with and annoying to play against, and I don't really like it. It's just one of those things about the game that, we all have our likes and dislikes. And when I play somebody who's playing a, deck that's, a combo deck, I don't love that either. But again, like maybe like somebody else at the table is playing like some sort of, interaction and whatnot. So hopefully they can keep that player specifically under control. And I'm often a little bit confused at people who are like, well, you're getting out of control over there. Not really. I have 6 1/1s. Oh boy. It's like at any time you could you could board wipe, and suddenly I won't be doing anything for a very long time. Like, that's how it is. And then they're like, oh yeah, now that I think about it like that, you need several turns probably to kill anyone, and that's just one person. I'm like, yep, And they're like, oh yeah, it's not that threatening actually, is it? But anyway, it's like one of those things where some things are like that anyway, with people being like, oh wow, he's got, 10 1-1s. Oh yes, I've got 10 1-1s, meaning it'll take 4 turns to kill one person or whatever, and whatnot. So and even then, people have blockers and things like that. Plus, they can't really get in. They don't have evasion, things like that. So again, not that amazing when you actually think about it. Anyway, that's sort of irrelevant for the most part. But anyway, as I said, you guys can let me know what you guys think. Write your thoughts down there in the comments below. I'll be sure to try to respond to them all. I really do enjoy interacting with you guys, talking about all the geeky things that we love. And yeah, I'll see you down there in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, you've just finished watching one of our videos. A bunch of other videos are popping up on your screen now for you to check out, so why not check them out?